Thank you all for coming. We are going to be doing lightning talks with the cohort members. I think there's 9 of them presenting. This is just a way for them to kind of wrap up what they've done here during the program and over the course of it and talk about things they're excited about. Each person is going to talk for 5 to 8 minutes with 10 to 20 slides, and then the next person will cycle over. So it'll be very fast, very informal, and then after each person gives their thing, there's time for 2 questions to each person. So if you have any questions, make sure you ask them.
Assandre Jean-Baptiste, I also go by Huey Dynamite. If you're wondering how the name came about, it was really just a name that my friends came up with in college because we all wanted to be rock stars. So we all gave ourselves cool names, and mine ended up being Huey Dynamite because, you know, Dynamite and Huey sounds cool together. So, the Undrawn, the Huey Dynamite story, reference to Unsung, if you've ever watched it, it's about, you know, drama and music artists and their dramatic stories. So I just, you know, wanted to play on that. It's a little bit unconventional. I just wanted to say some random facts about me. Huge anime fan. I love Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, probably my favorite anime. Code Geass. I love playing chess. I suck at it, but I love learning how to play it. I believe Waffle House is probably one of the best restaurants. Thank you. I question people who question Waffle House, but I understand that people have to, you know, learn and grow and, you know, become adults at one point. But a favorite author of mine, Ta-Nehisi Coates. I've read several of his books. I mean, The Water Dancer, Between Me and You. One of my favorite books recently was The Message, and it was a phenomenal book. And my favorite word is immaculate, because I love the way it sounds. We've reached the end of the slideshow. You can tell what kind of group member I was in group projects, you know. But I guess let me start with saying my intention in applying for Cedars Union, well, actually, from the very beginning, I was recommended by Jeremy Biggers, who's a phenomenal painter and muralist here in Dallas, because I asked him one time when I went to his solo show at Pencil on Paper Gallery. I was just, you know, I had really gotten my foot into the art scene in Dallas. And he was cool enough to answer my question about, like, what do I have to do to kind of get more immersed? And he mentioned Cedars Union. And so I came, I think it was a Tuesday. Matt was here, and I was like, hey, I heard about this spot. Can I learn more? And he gave me the coolest tour. And I was sold. I was like, let me sign up, right? So I got the community membership. And then I learned about the cohort. I'd signed up the first time, didn't get in, and I'm like, I have to get in the second time, right? And so when I was thinking about how I was gonna get in, I made sure, funny enough, when we were talking about words of the day, I realized, thinking back, that I did have keywords that I wanted to focus on if I got this spot, and it was exposure and refinement. I think a lot of artists deal with the word exposure a lot, especially with social media. But I wanted exposure in the sense of networking and meeting people, hearing perspectives from other artists. I knew I needed that because being stuck in my room day after day, after day, after day, painting, because it's boring. It is boring, you know, like you can't fight it. But I mean, I knew I needed someone else to talk to when it comes to that process of just making some work, or maybe just chatting it up and seeing what another artist is going through. And refinement. I knew that somewhere in my career as an artist that I had to have a section where I had just needed to focus on refining my work. I had ideas, I had a purpose, I had the passion, but I needed to make sure that it was pristine so that whenever I can talk about it, it felt more organic. So that was the intention going in. And luckily, Cedars Union provided such a welcoming and wonderful space for that. I was exploring new ideas. It's not on here, but this idea of doing too much was just to find a line between, I feel like I have ADHD. I haven't been diagnosed, but I feel like I got it. But I feel like I'm trying to find this line between the fact in this day and age that as artists, we have to be the marketer, we have to be the curator, we have to be the artist as well. We have to be everything. And it sounds crazy, but it's also like, it comes with the territory. So I'm not so much complaining, I just knew that it has to be the truth. And also letting myself rest, right? And so in these 4 images, I'm trying to illustrate this idea of flow, where the subject is almost in a seamless sort of movement. There's a lot of arms. I wanted to make it like a cool number of arms because I didn't want to make him look like a spider, but I definitely wanted to have each limb be actively doing something to make the subject seem more into whatever their environment is. And thankfully, I really don't think I probably would have tackled it as well as I did, or at least it feels like I did a good job at it if I wasn't here, because I remember when I worked on this piece right here, Is You Is, I don't know if you guys know that song, Is You Is or Is You Ain't My Baby, Tom and Jerry. Yeah, Tom and Jerry, yeah. That was one of the references. I mean, part of it was from like a photo from my mom and dad, but I was like going down a rabbit hole on YouTube and I was watching Tom and Jerry and I'm like, damn, this is a really good song. And then I just kind of like just sparked, and literally December 29th through the 31st, I didn't sleep in here, but I spent a long time in here. I spent a long time just working on that piece. Like I couldn't get away from it, and I wouldn't have been able to do it if I was at home, honestly. It just, having this space put me in that mode. And that's what I'm absolutely grateful for. Other opportunities that I was able to have, thankfully, being here was the open studios, where, as my other cohort members have spoken about, like you have to network with people and you have to talk with them and you have to do it for a while. And it's fun, right? It's fun. I didn't realize how weak my social battery was until then, but it definitely helped me pace myself and, you know, meet other people from different walks of life and have them interact with my work in a way that I probably wouldn't have like seen before. A lot of people, you know, talk about the arms and they're like, yeah, this is really cool. And I'm like, thanks, I thought it was weird, but I appreciate it. But yeah, along with the open studios, it's also cool to brag about having a studio. I mean, it's nice, you know. I think one of the biggest collabs that happened recently was the opportunity to work with the Billionaire Boys Club. And so they did like a cool photo shoot over here. I got to do an image for a hoodie for Pharrell's Black Ambition thing. I say thing, but it's awesome. But it was, they came over, they kind of took a quick look at my studio, did some videos. And again, I probably wouldn't have been able to do that if I didn't have a spot, because they definitely weren't gonna come to my spot. No, you know, but that was amazing. Along with that, just meeting the cohort members and speaking with them every so often and learning about their story and, you know, just chopping it up about how crazy it is to have a studio here and, you know, how awesome the food is and stuff. You know. I think moving forward, Cedars Union was my very first residency. I had never been in a residency before, incredibly enlightening. And so now I'm on this just mode to find more. Like now I'm on that residency high. Like I have to travel. I have to find another spot where I can sit down and just work, and it cannot be home. And I don't mind if it is, but I mean, like, it's just that thirst for, you know, different cultures and different experiences, and whether it's overseas, I just need to see what else is out there. It was one of those things I didn't realize how small my world was or how parochial I thought I was until I got here. And it's crazy, like the growing I've had here. Some of it uncomfortable, but a lot of it I'm grateful for. And yeah, that's the Huey Dynamite untold, unsung, undrawn story. Thank you for watching. Is that 5 minutes? No, 5 minutes? Okay, good. I'm just joking. Any questions? Yes.
Just as Jeremy told you to come here,
Uh-huh.
what would your advice now be for an artist now looking for community connection?
For sure.
Where you were before.
For sure. Like, this is an awesome opportunity. I mean, it is what you make out of it. There's a lot of things that I wish I had, like Dakari said, I wish I had participated in more in. But definitely, I've already told several of my artist friends, like, apply. You don't know what you can make out of it until you step in. I'm thankful for Jeremy. I tell him all the time when I say, I'm like, hey man, big dog, thank you. But it's one of those things, like you have to be in an environment that's unfamiliar, and you have to be challenged. You have to learn how to be okay with the exposure and then meeting people constantly, right? And because they're getting a good look into your sanctuary, essentially. Like, they're in your studio, they're in your second home, and they're looking at your work, and they're critiquing it, and they're judging, but they love it, and it's awesome. But it's still that you have to get used to that. And there's a lot of artists. I mean, I was in the same boat where, you're in your home and you're comfortable because you don't have to show the world everything. But once you do, you don't realize. You realize quickly it's not so bad. But it's one of those growing pains and lessons. So immediately, if they don't know about it, that's one of the first things I say. Like, if you're looking for a studio, and if you're looking for a community, you just come to Cedars Union. Even if you don't get into the cohort, which they're pretty awesome about. They're cool about judging, but you can still get a community membership. You can still interact with the people here, and that's what I did in the first place. So it's like a no-brainer. Honestly, it's a no-brainer. If you haven't, unless you're a hotshot and you get a museum acquisition off the rip, you got a banana on a canvas. So it's yeah. Anybody else?
I don't know if I missed this, but Dynamite, is that your last name?
No. So, like, Huey Dynamite came from, like, Huey from the Boondocks, and Dynamite came from Black Dynamite, because those are my two favorite shows. Like, one of my other friends is called Professor Gumbo, and he doesn't even like gumbo, but he just came up with Professor Gumbo. We just came up with nicknames because we wanted an alter ego, and it just kind of worked. LLC right there.